And welcome back to the Back Row Eagles Show, everybody. I'm your host, Michael Bauer. I apologize for the long layoff. I'm not going to lie. I didn't feel like doing a fucking podcast, man. It's just that easy. I had so much going on with the Dynasty Rewind, working like crazy. Life and that Rona getting in the way. I didn't have it, but it's just getting in the way of everything, it seems. I don't know how I didn't get it because the people that come into my work, they're just flat out fucking disgusting. That's just how it is. So let's get into some news quick before we talk about one of the most important things to being an Eagles fan, and that's the rivalry with the Dallas Cowboys. We got a very special guest on today, but we're going to get to that in a minute. Just a couple things I want to touch on. So Bleacher Report continuing their fantastic journalistic prowess. I mean, I should be writing for Bleacher Report because they're going to let you know who's breathing and who wipes back to front. But apparently, Miles Sanders is ready to be, according to Bleacher Report. Well, whoop de fucking do. He's probably ready to be a running back one. So moving on, the Birds are also eyeing Devonta Freeman, Carlos Hyde, and McCoy. From a pure NFL standpoint, I know a lot of guys on the Back Row channel talk about fantasy, and here's the deal. Any of these guys, fantasy-wise, to Miles Sanders is going to be like when the Eagles signed Dorsey Levens and Brian Westbrook was there. It's that easy. From a pure NFL standpoint, you need depth. God forbid Miles Sanders tears his ACL week 1. Are you comfortable trying to make a Super Bowl run with Boston Scott and Michael Warren? You're not. They weren't drafted for a reason. Devonta Freeman's the guy I'd like the best, barring injuries. I don't know. He's a good receiving back. He'd fit the scheme well. Shady McCoy, he's the greatest Eagles running back of all time. He's franchise-leading rusher. Should have never been traded. Yet another reason Chip Kelly will forever rot in hell. But here's the thing. How do you bring in Shady McCoy? He's your all-time franchise-leading rusher, and he's supposed to be the backup. Doesn't make a lot of sense. The guy I'd like the most, Carlos Hyde. He's nothing spectacular. He's your between-the-tackles runner. Boston Scott's your receiving back then if Miles Sanders were to go down. Probably the cheapest out of the three and would probably be the best fit just for those reasons alone. Aside from that, Dillard is ready to dominate at left tackle, according to head coach Doug Peterson. I don't know how you can dominate at left tackle when you can't practice against anybody. But here's the thing. Do not re-sign Jason Peters. I don't care about him putting videos of him working out online. I work out too, and I'm 35. I'm not playing left tackle. I'm also not massive, and I never played left tackle. That's kind of irrelevant. But that being said, hey, listen, like I'm saying before, the time is now. If you want to win the Super Bowl, you got to do it now. The division's getting better. It's not the NFC least anymore. Cowboys got better. The Giants got better. The Redskins somehow got better, although I still think they're a quarterback away from being competitive. I don't care what anybody says. Dwayne Haskins is one of the slowest quarterbacks I've ever seen, and I've watched Nick Foles run the football. It's terrible. But that being said, the team that we have to worry about the most is the Dallas Cowboys. They hated Dallas Cowboys. That rivalry 2 times a year where we could just hate somebody for wearing a star. And you know what? We're an equal opportunity podcast. So we're bringing on our 3rd ever guest. Don't hate me. Don't turn it off. But to really talk about a rivalry, you have to get both sides. You have to get the perspective from all around. So for our 3rd ever guest, a good friend of mine and fantastic fantasy football player, we have my friend Nick Richardson on this week, and he is a Cowboys fan. So Nick, let's start off by saying hello to you. How are you tonight down there in Texas? So he's not a bandwagon "we dem boys" guy. Okay, he is from the state of Texas. So Nick, how are we tonight?
Oh, we're doing pretty well tonight. Just having a cold shiner, talking about some Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, well, they both sound disgusting. I'm just kidding. I've had Shiner before. Which one are you having, though? I can't.
It is the Shiner Light Blonde tonight.
Okay. I think I've only had their Bach, which is very good.
I do love the Shiner Bach. It's just a little heavier, and I wanted a lighter beer tonight.
Okay, well, I'm going with Pennsylvania's finest. That's a Lion's Head. So if anyone that listens is a fan of The Office, that is the beer that Dwight Schrute drinks. It is a real thing, not just a novelty thing. So, Nick, it's great to have you on, I guess. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Kidding. It is great to have you on. So Nick and I, we met playing fantasy football. We are in the Sons of Dynasty League. If you're a Dynasty Rewind listener, we did a massive podcast with, what was that, 6 people on there?
I think it was 6 of us, yeah.
It was 6, yeah. Well, it had to be 6 because we did it through StreamYard, and StreamYard only allows 6 people on a time because I'm not paying for the premium version because I'm cheap. $20 is a month. A month is enough. Thank you, StreamYard. Although I think your platform is great. Using it tonight, although I usually record with Audacity, but I usually also don't have guests on this podcast either. So, all right, Nick, First, I want to ask you. Now, I said before I'm cheap. I don't go to Eagles games a lot because I can't afford it. I got a mortgage. I got a house. How often do you go to Cowboys games?
I don't. I've
Okay.
been to one Cowboys game in my actual life. Jerry keeps those prices a little too steep for me. Um, I would rather save $300 on the cheap seats and watch it from home because that's
Yeah.
about how much they are all the way up there.
Really, even for the cheapies.
The bad seats are still up there.
It stinks too because I'm sure they do the same thing that the Eagles do. When the single game tickets go on sale, you can
Mhm.
wait on the phone for 4 hours and still get nothing.
Yep.
But then you go like the third party and Ticketmaster just
It
they
gobbles
rack
them up.
everything up. Man, it's terrible. Like I was trying to take my wife to watch the Eagles play the Bears last year,
Mm.
which was in November, and you know what I mean, like starting to get crappy out up here, blah blah blah. I couldn't find a way to do it for less than $500.
God.
And that's just for the tickets. And I'm like, babe, I can't. I just can't.
Yep.
Besides, I got a good TV at my house. The bathroom's always open.
Yep. There you
The
go.
beer selection's
That's what
better.
I think. I think if you want an average, if you took a date, let's say you and your wife went to a Cowboys game here in Arlington, and you got just a middle of the run seat, somewhere section 2 or in the 200, something like that, plus parking, plus drinks and food and everything like that, you might be looking between $800 and $1,000 for the night, and that's insane.
And yet they pack the stadium every week.
Every week. Now there is a caveat. There is a standing room only section, and I think it's only like $25 or $35. First come, first serve. So as soon as you get there, it's like on the party deck. So if you move to go to the bathroom, you're not getting back. So as soon as they open the doors, it's a mad rush sprint to those rails for 2 hours before the game or whatever.
Who wants that?
And it's not even worth it. Now you're just fighting it to be at the game. It's not even a great seat. No, pass.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go ahead and pass. I love going to the Link. It's a great stadium. It's a lot of fun. But it's bad price-wise. Now, I will say this. So we're talking about the rivalry. Can't talk. I should probably be able to say it if I'm going to talk about it. I have been to an Eagles Cowboys game at Lincoln Financial Field. I've been to one. It was actually T.O.'s first game back at the Link after he signed with the Cowboys.
It's a good game for you.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be a good game for me at first. I mean, it was back and forth. It was your typical Eagles Cowboys game. You know what I mean? Like you feel away during the week and then the game happens and you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yep.
It's one of those things where the place was a madhouse. They were burning TO jerseys in the parking lot, all that stuff, doing burnouts on top of them with their car. Is there any game that sticks out to you? That's kind of the one that sticks out to me. But in this series, is there any one that sticks out to you the most? It could be recent. It could be when you were younger.
Yeah, the game that sticks out the most is the Jason Witten helmet game, right? With him catching that pass and running and having it hit off and still going. Just can't tackle the beast. And he's just running with no helmet, making the Eagles look like the Eagles. Like that game, without a doubt, sticks out the most.
That was a pretty good one. So for me, it's T.O.'s homecoming, obviously because I was there.
Sure.
Now let me ask you this. I'll ask you before I tell you my thoughts on it. What is your perspective on the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry? Just because I feel like we hate you more than you hate us.
I think that's possibly fair.
Because I was told that you guys probably hate the Giants more than you hate us, right?
So so there's the difference, and so that's the exact caveat I was kind of going towards. As a whole, the Eagles fan base hates the Dallas Cowboys the most,
more than anything.
Like you ask any Eagles fan, fuck the Cowboys, always. You ask a Dallas Cowboys, you do 4 different Cowboys fans, you might get 2 Eagles, 1 Redskins, and 1 Giant. It is across the board. There's no consensus. For me, it's the Eagles. But it's because I don't respect the other 2 organizations. I don't see them as challenges.
Not even the Giants. I mean, the Giants did win 2 Super Bowls in the span of 5
but
years.
Look how they did it. Like there was not convincing. Like it wasn't like they're such a superior team or organization. They caught fire, and you catch fire. I mean, hell, any team can do that. Like Giants don't impress me.
Okay. I mean, okay. Well, then I'll tell you what. We were going to talk about this towards the end. Let's just touch on it now, real quick. So you don't have respect for those two organizations. What do you think? Leaving the Eagles out, because obviously we're talking about this rivalry here. We're talking about you and me and us and them and blah, blah, blah. What do you think about the Giants and the Redskins? How do you think they're going to fare this year in the NFC East? A lot of turnover, a lot of new places or new faces and new places, new coaches.
Yeah. So, I think the Redskins get last in the division.
I would agree.
Just because, they got some players I like. I love what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. I love that D line they're building it's going to be great. It's going to rival the Eagles line a year or two ago, whatever, where they were just monsters. That's what the Redskins are doing. Like, they're shutting it down. Their offense, so many questions.
They're going to have to because they can't score points.
Haskins, what are you going to do with Haskins? Like,
are you sold on him as an NFL quarterback?
I mean, it depends if you want like a discount Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is discount enough.
It's Haskins. That's what I stand by that.
I don't disagree at all. I love that.
I'm going to turn it.
That.
I actually like Carr a little bit.
Carr, he
has moments
on, but I mean, didn't the guy come back from a broken back early and keep playing? Like
was it 2016? He was like on an MVP run or something. I can't remember. Yeah. Then he like broke his tibia or something. I can't remember.
They had a good team that year too.
That was pre Amari Cooper realizing it was Oakland. But I like Carr by no means. I think he's special. But Haskins, back to what we're actually talking about. Haskins he's not it. He's bad. He's just bad. He might develop to be an average quarterback, maybe. But there's not enough on offense. Like, okay, you lost Trent Williams. That's not good. I like Terry McLaurin. They got a couple other receivers. Steven Sims Jr. I like, Sims, but they ain't nothing on offense that scares me. Like,
their running back situation is terrible.
I love Darius Geis sometimes.
But is he going to play?
If he's there, I don't, you can't count on that until you see it. So I don't see anything there yet. Like I said, their defense is building. Big fan. Giants, quite the opposite. I love what they're doing on offense. Yeah. I like the way they're building it. I like Daniel Jones enough. I think he's going to have issues as well. Like, not as bad turnover prone as Jameis Winston, but he's going to he throws interceptions. He makes
Eli Manning threw interceptions too.
And so did Eli. Eli was like I think it was a 1-for-1, wasn't he? Touchdown interception or something like that.
Career win-loss ended up being 500. No. And people are saying he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean,
no.
You know what? Hey, now before you finish talking about the Giants, I do want to ask you this. Could Eli Manning's career trajectory have been different if the Giants would have given him some better talent sometimes? There's a lot of times where their defensive, remember when they've won that first Super Bowl in 2007, that defensive line was nasty.
All defense, sick.
It was a fantastic defense.
Yep.
Offense they had Plaxico Burress, who was
mediocre.
He was not the Plaxico Burress that he was in Pittsburgh. So if he would have had some top tier talent around him.
He's had a couple playmakers. He's never had anything big time. So maybe it could have been a little bit better. I think he got rattled a little bit in games, and those poor decisions got kind of exposed in that manner. It wasn't because of who he was trying to get it to, but the fact that he couldn't get it there because he was shaken up. I mean, they had, like I said, they had some pretty good players with, Mr. Salsa Dance and whatnot. But anyways, I like what they're doing now. DJ's all right. I think he's going to be maybe a slightly above average quarterback, probably like 14 to 16, right? Like right in the middle. Barkley, I'm not talking about Barkley. Nobody needs to talk about Barkley.
Yeah, he's the man.
Evan Ingram, special player, kind of goes the same way with Geis. Is he going to play? Like, he seems like always dinged up.
Right.
And then I'm a big Darius Slayton fan.
Me too.
Darius? Is that right?
Sure.
That sounds off, actually. I say I'm a big fan. I'm a big Slayton fan. That's going to bug me now. But
I'm pretty sure it's right. I think it's Darius Slayton.
But
now I don't know. I feel like I know, but now I don't. So,
but no. So I like what they're doing on offense. Their defense isn't far behind. It's just it's not as impressive to me yet. But I think they're building well. I think they could be coming up a little bit, but
yeah.
I think they're still a significant step behind Philly and behind Dallas.
I mean, again, these franchises are heading in the right direction.
Yep.
I think, and here's the thing, I know Daniel Snyder loves Dwayne Haskins. I know he does. He's not Ron Rivera's guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ron Rivera coached Cam Newton for however long that they were together in Carolina. Dwayne Haskins is not Cam Newton.
No.
By any means. He's nowhere near as athletic. You know, I think, and Nick and I, obviously, we're in the fantasy industry, and there seems to be, for whatever reason, massive Ohio State homerism in the fantasy community. So everybody is hopping on board the Dwayne Haskins bandwagon. The dude is slow. And for a guy that ran RPOs in college is so unathletic. Man, and the last game they played against you, he was lighting it up. Dude, our secondary was terrible. Our secondary got a hell of a lot better since last year, man.
Yeah.
Hell of a lot better. So now, before we continue talking about the rivalry, I want to ask you about a couple of things Cowboys related, okay? And I can talk about this stuff all out. I'm not a Cowboys fan. So my opinion might not be as valid as yours, but I am the host of the show, so it is pretty valid. Mike McCarthy, your thoughts on that hiring? Is he going to be genius Mike McCarthy? Is he going to be dud Mike McCarthy?
He's not going to be a dud. I'm good. I like the hiring. Maybe it was just because I wanted Jason Garrett gone so bad. But he's going to be fine. I wouldn't also call him a genius. He's not going to unlock this offense or defense where they're otherworldly. The offense itself is already good enough. I think he's going to allow the playbook to develop a little bit more than Jay Jeezy didn't allow previously. So I think we'll see more 3-wide sets where there's a little bit more crossing and less curl routes and stop routes, because everybody in the freaking world knew that Cowboys were running a stop route on 4th and 3. Like, why are you running this? So I think he's going to be more open-minded. Reports on the hiring were that in the year he was off, was that he studied a lot of analytics between, I think he actually dropped PFF as one of his sources or sites, whatever you want to call it. So I know he's been studying, trying to adapt a little bit more. I see Cowboys offense, unless it just falls apart at the Wills, I don't see that happening. They're going to be a top 5 offense next year.
Okay.
And I just don't think there's anything around that can make that not happen.
Okay. Let's talk about your quarterback situation. And this is interesting. So I don't have a lot of respect for Jerry Jones, and here's why. I'm just going to throw this out there. 2 reasons. One, the world is in shambles, and the dude is drafting from his fucking private yacht. Like, all right, Jerry, you're a billionaire, whatever. We get it. What pissed me off was when Dak was having that rookie season. That was a fantastic rookie season. I'll give him credit for that. There was an ESPN pregame thing where he's talking about, we knew right there that we had the rookie of the year. Bullshit. When Dak Prescott was drafted, Tony Romo was still there, and you were hoping to win a Super Bowl with Tony Romo. You did not know you had the rookie of the year. You didn't even want this guy stepping on the field. Okay? So for those 2 reasons. But let's talk about quarterbacks here. So supposedly, Dak turned down a contract offer that would have made him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. Now, I want to pair that with this. They signed Andy Dalton to a cheap contract. Do they let Dak walk? Is it possible he plays out this year on that 5th-year tag? Andy Dalton comes in, and really, if you think about it, for the Cowboys to be successful, they don't need anything more than a guy to come in under center and manage the game. Your running game is stellar. By the way, this is paining me. It's hurting to say everything, but it's true. Your running game is stellar. Your wide receivers are fantastic. Your defense is above average, is not an average defense. It is stellar, and it'll be even better if Leighton Vander Esch comes back. We don't know what's going to happen. We were talking about that before the show. So do you think the rumors are true? This is a long-winded question. Are the rumors true about the Dak turning it down? And do you think that the Andy Dalton signing was depth, or was it a message to Dak Prescott, or was it both?
Before that, I get into that. I don't think our defense is as good as you say it is.
I think it's good enough, that's for sure.
But I think you're missing the one part that we lost Byron Jones. You can't forget about that.
I think Byron Jones got overpaid.
He definitely got overpaid. I do not want to pay that contract to him.
I don't have it in front of me, but I remember I was like, "Whoa!"
I was like it was like 80,000 or 80 million or something. I can't remember. It was way too much.
That Miami spent that much because they're not in a position to contend right now. They're 3 to 4 years away, I think, before they're anything really serious as far as contenders go.
Agreed. All right, with Andy Dalton, I think it's just a brilliant signing. When's the last time we had a quarterback with a decent backup? It was Dak behind Romo.
When Jason Garrett was Troy Aikman's backup, was probably a pretty good one, right?
But Dak behind Romo, aside from that, you might be right there. It might have been Jay-Z, but
now hold on. Now correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Dak was never the backup because
he was third string.
Well, didn't Tony Romo get hurt in preseason? And it's pretty much been Dak's show since day one, hasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you think about it, he never really was the backup.
Well, he started out as the backup, but nonetheless,
true.
Technicalities, whatever.
Yeah.
But the point was they were going into that season with a good backup.
True.
If you consider, and this is also part of Romo years of constantly hurt and whatnot, Romo gets hurt, who goes in? Fucking Whedon? Are you kidding me?
Kyle Orton.
Fuck Orton. Fuck any of them. I don't care. They're all trash.
They were guys. They were just guys.
They were guys that could take a snap, and we could go 6-10, 7-9, whatever. Andy Dalton's not bad. He's just not special. He is a stable quarterback that, for whatever reason, if he needed to play, he could take this offense to a win. Exactly what you said. We have Zeke. Zeke is, however you want to slice it, a top 4 running back. I don't care. I personally think he's the best pure rusher currently. I don't think he's the best running back, if that makes more sense. It's kind of like
No, I get what you're saying, because maybe Saquon Barkley could be considered a better all-around back.
Yeah.
But I do like Zeke between the tackles a little bit more. Although Elliott last year really did, he stepped up his receiving chops big time.
The year before was his bigger receiving year. He actually struggled at the beginning of last year, and I think that had part to do with the holdup.
Not against us.
Well, Zeke always eats against Philly.
He always does.
He always eats. But so I think Dalton was more just that's a smart NFL franchise football move. They paid him $3 million to be a backup quarterback. That's brilliant. That's awesome. Like, if whatever happens with Dak, doesn't play, holds out, gets hurt, you have a capable NFL starting quarterback ready to go. Very similar to when Wentz goes down and Foles comes and gets a Super Bowl. Dak and his contract, it's a little bit more convoluted, and because it's the Dallas Cowboys, if you put Dallas Cowboys in a headline, it's going to be just all over the place. It's going to have rumors. It's going to have nothing that's true for the most part because it spreads like wildfire. The latest thing that I've heard about Dak and his contract is they're pretty much close. It's the contract offer was like 5 years, 175 million, which breaks it's 35 a year, right on mark with the way that quarterback trend's going right now. And what the issue is, Dak wants 4 years. Cowboys want 5 at that money. Dak says, well, if I give you a 5th year, I want my 5th year to be $45 million. Which, okay, you want a $10 million bump because at the end of that contract, quarterback cap situation is going to be how much higher than $45 or $35 million. He's probably a decent amount. So he's playing a smart move. What the Cowboys and Dak are talking about is a $2 million deal, $2 million a year difference. So a $37 million a year contract gets Dak done for 5 years. And that's what's going to happen. I think you're looking at 37. It might go to 37 and a half, looking around 110 to 115 guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to get locked up. Jerry signs his guys, and you may hate the Jera, but he is a salesman and he gets his guys. I hate Jerry too sometimes, a lot of times, but he's going to sign the guys he wants to sign.
See, it's weird. In Philadelphia, we don't really hate the owner. We always hate the general manager. But I guess for you, it's the same thing. It's one of the same. So, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you want Dak to be your quarterback for the next 5 years?
So I'm not as in love with Dak as my fantasy football team's team or the rest of Cowboys Nation seems to be in love with Dak. Or actually, it's honestly still, Romo lovers hate Dak. Like nobody can understand. Like it's okay to like both. I like Dak. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's damn good. $35 million a year is going to look like nothing at the end of this contract. So it's going to look shock and awe when he signs it. And then in 2 or 3 years, it's going to be like, oh, wait, he's right in the middle of the road now in money. So I would be okay with it because Dak's good enough to take the current team we have to contention. And if without Dak, we're going to go early pick. So it's fine too, I guess. But
we kind of have a similar thing here in Philadelphia. You still have the Wentz guys. Obviously, I'm a big Wentz fan. And then you have the Foles people like, well, they need to keep Foles. Wentz is always hurt. And you know what? Wentz is not always hurt. I know it looks like it, but here's the thing. In 4 years, he's only missed 8 games. I mean, 4 years, 8 games. It's, you know what I mean? It's just, it looked like it was worse than what it was. I had some people saying that he was soft in the playoff game. Dude, I'll tell you what, and like I say, I'll hit you in the back of the head with a baseball bat because that's pretty much what getting hit by Jadeveon Clowney probably felt like.
Probably.
You go out there and quarterback a team. Okay? Seriously, like, come on. Also, you get hit like that, you don't have a choice. They pull you out. It's not your choice. Also, Jadeveon Clowney, I said it before, I said it again, you're a piece of shit. You should have been fined and suspended and thrown out. So.
That was pretty rough.
Here's the thing. Everybody in the stadium saw it. Everybody on TV saw it. The referees didn't see it. So luckily, as a Cowboys fan, you have the refs in your back pocket. We always had to play against you guys.
Not
and the refs.
Always true.
It's always true. It's always true. So let's talk. Let's go back to the origins of this rivalry real quick. Are you familiar with how it started? Like way back in the day before you and I were like our fathers probably couldn't even produce active sperm yet when this rivalry started. Let's go back. We're going to go back to the Cotton Bowl, December 10th, 1967. So keep in mind that back then the Cowboys were good. The Eagles were not. The Eagles should have been the better team. They were around for 34 years at that point in time. The Eagles are 5-6-1. Cowboys were 8-4. See, here we go. Starting a thing here. The Cowboys are leading 31-3. There had been talks about a guy. His name is Timmy Brown. He just recently passed away. He's an Eagles legend. He was one of the very first like pure all-purpose backs. Look up his stats sometime. For the 1960s, you'd actually be pretty damn surprised at the numbers that he put up. He kind of like an Alvin Kamara of back then, but a little bit bigger. So anyway, apparently there was a bounty on him before the game. That's what they did back then, and that's what apparently the Saints and the Steelers still do. So Cowboys are up 31-3. Brown runs a dummy route. Quarterback Norm Snead throws to somebody else on the other side of the field. So Cowboys linebacker Leroy Jordan, who gets inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor in 1989. He elbows Timmy Brown in the face. Timmy Brown suffers a broken jaw and has 6 teeth knocked out. He was unable to eat solid food for 6 weeks. So,
God damn.
There was only a 15-yard penalty. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, but hey, back then, you know what I mean. So that's the origin of the rivalry, and then from there, the Cowboys dominate us for the next decade after 1966. They win the next 10 matchups, 20 of the next 22. Let's keep in mind, I don't know how familiar you are with history of your team. I'm a big history buff. Not a lot of people dive into it. Basically, the Eagles had 2 spells. They had the 40s, the late 40s. They were in 3 NFL championship games. They won 2. 50s, they were okay. They won the 1960 NFL championship game. The only, this is fantastic, only time Vince Lombardi ever lost in the playoffs was that 1960 NFL championship game. You could almost find the whole game on YouTube. There's like a minute and a half missing for some reason. I guess it just disappeared. It's weird. But then basically they were terrible until 1980. Like, no lie, Dick Vermeil comes in, they go to a Super Bowl, they beat the Cowboys to get to the Super Bowl, they lose to the Raiders, and then they're bad again for like another decade. So I think part of it is, from our perspective, you were so good right away as an expansion team.
Yep.
We're one of the original NFL teams. We sucked for so long. You're America's team. America was not founded in Texas. I understand there's nothing more American than Texas, but it was founded in Philadelphia. The logo of the country is not a star. There's stars in the flag, but our logo is an eagle. I guess all these things just add up, and it gets vicious at times. You know what I mean? So, from your perspective, historically, how would an old school Cowboys fan, like, is your dad a Cowboys fan, or any of your uncles?
No, my dad actually doesn't care for football that much.
Really?
He'll watch it. He just doesn't. He's not a fan.
Okay.
Like, if it's when I go home for Thanksgiving, we'll have football on. But he doesn't know any of the names. He doesn't know any of the guys. He doesn't know. I mean, he knows football. He played football growing up, but he doesn't care about it anymore. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't affect his life, so he doesn't follow it.
That's interesting for someone that lives in Texas, by the way.
It is, and it's a little bit of backstory to that. Is so my dad was a linebacker growing up, and he played in college, and then he was playing semi-pro, and he ended up getting hurt a little bit, and then coming back, he was playing some more, and then he was right there on the line of actually playing, probably a backup or a special teams kind of player, but he walked away from football for my mom. Because they had whatever the reason was, I have no idea. So I think it's one of those situations where he doesn't like to really get into it because it makes him think of what he missed.
Okay.
So it's one of those, like, it kind of hurts to watch for him.
Yeah. No, I get it then. But so yeah, okay. So if you ask an old school Cowboys fan, like a guy that's been a Cowboys fan from day one, what would they say about the Eagles rivalry?
Kind of like I hit it at the beginning, it just depends on the one that you ask. If you find the right person that hates Philly, like I do, they're kind of what you're getting at.
We
it's
hate
not.
you too. Don't worry, Nick.
Oh, I know. I feel the love, but it's not so much of the historical aspect of we're America's team and whatever else, all of that stuff that you're mentioning. We don't care about that much. It's more or less of just how filthy people act. It's just, you just stay in Philadelphia and don't come to Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need that down here.
Well, I will say I don't actually live in Philadelphia, but I did live in Philadelphia for a few months, so I do have some street cred. I don't have street cred. I'm a middle-aged white guy. There's no street cred. For me, like, whenever I think about stuff like this, for whatever reason, my dad just checks out. I'm like, Dad, what did you think of the Cowboys as a kid? He'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. I was just trying to get laid. But yes, my Uncle Al. My Uncle Al's great. I plan on having both him and my dad on the show at some point in the summer. That's going to be a shit show. I don't even know how I'm going to do that. But anyway, he's great. Old school Eagles fan. And it's always, hey, fuck him. Fuck him. It's one of those things. But I don't know. I think what really kind of elevated it was this. Like, we were so bad for so long. And you go from Tom Landry to Jimmy Johnson to Barry Switzer. I mean, I know Cowboys fans maybe are mixed on Barry Switzer, right?
Like, I like Barry.
Yeah, he won you a Super Bowl, right? So you it was like 1, 2, 3 decades of success. Meanwhile, here we are just bumbling around, laughing stock of we were like the Bengals of the 70s, and you're basically rubbing it on our face. And it's like that I think it makes it worse. And then you guys maybe just I think we feel that the Cowboys fans have an air of superiority about them. Not so much you, but I've met some that have.
100%, and you're not wrong. There's definitely some Cowboys fans that are like that. And to be fair, I fucking hate most of the Cowboys fans too.
See, that's funny. Hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, obviously I was ecstatic. Of course, right? You're seeing him. But here's the thing. I knew that there were going to be those insufferable Eagles fans that are going to make us, well, that already looked bad enough, look
Yeah,
even worse.
yeah.
Like,
And we've gone over it. I hate the fucking Weed and Boys saying. I hate it so
we
much.
had talked about that.
And I won't say it. I don't say it. You know, I can't. I rarely even reference America's team, which because fucking Cowboys Nation and media does it enough. I don't need to. But
Yeah.
um, Cowboys fans that live in the '90s and don't adapt to what happened after are fucking insufferable. Even in Dallas, it's I can't stand them either. It's way too damn much. But I think that goes with every fan base. I've had some exactly what you were saying. There are a couple buddies down here that are Philly fans. After they won the Super Bowl, I thought I was gonna have to fucking curb stomp them. Like
You probably should have just
like
let them die
fuck.
after the Super Bowl. That's probably what they wanted anyway.
Just
You know
go
what I
out
mean?
happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Every fan base is bad. The Eagles fans get a really bad rap. Are we a rowdy fan base? Absolutely. We're passionate. You know what? Here's the thing. Philadelphia is not the nicest place in the world. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
No, I haven't.
It's actually okay. So it's not the greatest. It's not the worst. There's way worse places you can go in Pennsylvania. I could show
Sure.
you where they are. Um, Depending on where you go, Philadelphia's actually got some really cool shit going on, man.
Yeah.
You got the art museum. You can go see the Rocky statue. There's a lot of cool shit down there. Lots of great breweries. Lots of fucking awesome food, man. Like
Yeah.
tons of good stuff to do. Philadelphia gets a bad rap. You know, maybe we have an inferiority complex because every team in the NFC East was winning, 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 winning. We're sandwiched
Right.
right between New York, right between Washington, D.C., like an armpit. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things. We take it out on the team that's doing the best out of the division, be you guys. So our fan base, assholes, absolutely. I'm not going to make any excuses. Loyal, absolutely. If you say we're a quarterback factory, we're a quarterback factory. I still hate the pick, man. Hate the pick.
Mm.
Don't like it.
Cowboys Nation will accept your apology for always being a dickhead.
I will say this though. I think Hurts gets traded in a couple years.
You think they're gonna try to Jimmy G him?
I think so. Yeah.
Would be a good thing. I mean, if assuming Wentz stays healthy and touching on what you said earlier, the timing of Wentz's injuries or why he's only missed like 8 games or whatever, it's always at the end of the year.
It was the end of the Super Bowl year, then it was the beginning of the next year and the end of the next year.
Yeah.
So.
I think that would be a good move. You know, if you can get somebody to let me preface this. You would have to get a first round pick for Hurts for it to be a good move.
Or some sort of package deal.
Or you got to remember, you spend a second on him, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a pick and a player.
That's what I'm saying. You can't just get a second because then why the fuck did you take him? Like,
supposedly, I don't know if you heard this or not. They took him so the Cowboys couldn't get him.
we weren't taking Hurts.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't think that they were intending on it anyway. I thought the whole report was complete BS. I was like, they'll sign Dak before they draft Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Although I think Jalen Hurts in Dallas would be freaking scary, man.
I don't hate the fit. It could be good. But they were not going to spend a second round capital on him. Not when there were bigger needs, like we talked about earlier with Byron Jones leaving. They needed a corner, and when we took CD, I knew we were taking CD. Once I saw Denver not take him at 15, it's like fuck, it's over. Because I know Atlanta's not taking him at 16, and at 17, if he's there, Jerry's not passing on CD fucking Lamb.
Well, so apparently. Also, another report I heard, the Eagles were trying to trade up to 16 to get him. Yep. And the Falcons took cornerback A.J. Terrell out of Clemson, who apparently a lot of draft experts had like a second round grade on.
Yeah, he went high.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, the Falcons just doing Falcon things. I don't know how Dan Quinn still has a job, if I could be completely honest with you.
You're not wrong.
Seriously, like, come on, dude. You know what I mean? Like, so...
He looked into Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, and outside of
ruining.
And what is he doing outside of those two? Like, you suck, bro.
Yeah. I think he's a guy like Jason Garrett. We could say the same thing. Better coordinator than offensive,
100%.
head coach.
100%.
Dan Quinn ran some great defenses up there in Seattle. But
Mhm.
I think the loser out of this whole thing between the Eagles, Cowboys, and Falcons, that's going to be the Falcons.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
going to look back on it. They're going to regret not getting, because they were probably, it was probably going to be the
What were
Eagles
you,
at 21
or 22?
We
21?
were at 21, and then it was, I don't know if the package was the 53, which is where Hurts was selected, or if it was a third or whatever, but still, man, to move back 5 spots and pick up an extra pick, you can't tell me that AJ Terrell wouldn't have been there, because after that it went CeeDee Lamb. The Dolphins took a lineman, okay? Then the Raiders took Damon Arnett as a cornerback, okay?
He
Whatever.
went fucking high, by the way.
He
I
did.
can't believe he was a first round pick.
Yeah, that was a little crazy. And then the Jaguars go with an edge rusher, K'Lavon Chaseon from LSU. So
LSU, yeah.
you can't tell me that you couldn't have done better. Like the Falcons, I think, were in prime spot to take a fucking running back, which they needed. Todd Gurley's knees are shot. They released Devonta Freeman.
I think you're absolutely dead on with this. They're fucking stupid for not swapping with the Eagles, and at minimum picking up a 3, likely with CD on the board, and that being obviously a huge Philly need. Falcons could have and should have, and the Eagles should have fucking done it regardless. A 1 and a 2. Swap ones and give up your 2 for CeeDee Lamb, because y'all need it. And and Falcons make out with a bandit. They still get their guy at 21, and then at 53, right? Was that you said your second round pick was 53?
Yeah, I think it was
whatever.
53,
early 50s. They could have fucking taken anybody.
53.
They could have taken another corner, because the Cowboys took Trevon Diggs from Alabama in the second. We needed that big time. He was. I have him over Arnett and Terrell. So it's very confusing what they did. Plus, as you're talking about running back, I think at 53, only 2 running backs have been taken.
Edwards-Helaire was the first one off the board at
32.
132, and then
Taylor went at like 47, right?
DeAndre Swift was off the board.
Swift, that's right. They both, those 3 went.
By the way, I also think that Laviska Shenault got drafted too high. That's me. And then Cam Akers went off the board at 52. I think actually, wait, hold on. I might be missing. Yeah, I'm sorry. So it was 4. It was Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor went off the board. Then it was it was Cam Akers. Yeah. Okay. I'm missing someone. But it was 4.
JK. I know JK.
Dobbins, I think, went after that, to be
honest. He went. That's what I'm saying. He went after. So, and Dobbins would have been a fucking awesome fit in Atlanta too.
He went 2 picks after Jalen Hurts. He went at 55. I honestly, dude, I would have been fine if the Eagles would have freaking traded Miles Sanders, because I think when the Texans traded DeAndre Hopkins, I think they were in talks with the Eagles. I think they wanted Miles Sanders.
I still don't understand that.
You can't tell me 2 picks later, at 53, man, you could have gotten J.K. Dobbins. Or, like I was saying, trade for DeAndre Hopkins. You want a guy that's like Miles Sanders? Take LaMichael Pirine in the 4th round. You know how much I love LaMichael Pirine. It's very similar skill set to Miles Sanders, though.
Yep.
Very similar.
Absolutely. It's very
Jordan Howard, blah, blah, blah.
It's teams are confusing, man. Teams are confusing. Hindsight's 2020 looking back at it, but yeah, I don't understand. If I'm the Falcons, I'm giving y'all that pick all day long, and y'all can come get CD, and I'm getting my guys later.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm fucking ecstatic. Dallas Cowboys having CD. I tell you, because I don't know if you've heard, CD wanted to wear number 10, right? I don't know if you had heard that.
I had heard something about the whole jersey thing, but didn't Jerry make him wear 88?
No, so and like I kind of hinted a second ago, if it says Dallas Cowboys, fucking rumors are everywhere. Don't believe anything. So Jerry said he's going to let him know that he can wear 88. Because 88's become this trend for Dallas with
Irvin,
with Drew Pearson, the playmaker, Dez, yeah. So no drafted receiver, unless you're just the heir of arrogant, is just going to I'm wearing 88. That's going to be a number that's given to you. And Jerry's like, hey, if you want it, you can have it. And he actually came on the local radio. CD came on the local radio station today about 4:00, talking about it. And I actually have, let me, oh shit, I closed it. Nonetheless, he had a conversation with Michael Irvin, talking about it. And Michael Irvin encouraged him to wear 88 if he felt comfortable with it, because he's like, look, man, we think you're the next 88. We want you to be a part of this fraternity. Like, so it's one of those who's like, hey, if you want to wear it, you can have it. Don't feel pressured to, but we think you're deserving.
No, he's special. CD Lamb is special, man.
Yeah,
he really is.
He's a stud.
You should be happy. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I thought the Eagles draft overall, aside from the second round, was good. I love the Jalen Reagor pick. He fits exactly into what we want to do.
He's a good player for y'all.
Offensively, they did the same thing offensively and defensively. Speed, versatility. On defense, sure tacklers. I mean, I'm watching these guys and they wrap people up. No big hitters, but sure tacklers. I think, honestly, you could talk to me in 5 years. Our best draft pick from this class is going to turn out to be our 4th round pick, Kayvon Wallace, safety out of Clemson.
Oh, it's Clemson. I wanted him.
That's the guy. Well, Clemson safeties in Philadelphia seem to work out pretty well. But Kayvon, man, I watched tape on him. Special player.
Safe. He's safe too.
How the hell did he get to the 4th round is what I want to know. There's dudes getting drafted above him that I'm like, man, Kayvon's still on the board. I don't know. It is what it is. But
talking about trades in the draft, I want to make sure I reach out and say thank you, Philadelphia, for allowing us to come up and get our center, Tyler Biotish, in the 4th.
Was that the 4th, or I thought that was the 5th? I got it.
I'm pretty sure we gave y'all our 5th and our 5th next year for y'all's 4th, if I remember. We
had the pick right in front of that. I actually didn't. The pick that we took anyway is a depth pick. It's Jack Driscoll, an offensive lineman out of Auburn. He's okay, a little bit of a short arm now. Want to talk about a lineman that I like? We took a guy in the 6th round, and his name is.
Can't like him that much.
There he is. Prince, I don't know how to say it. That's the problem. Prince Tega Wanago. He's another offensive tackle. He actually played with Jack Driscoll, our 4th round pick at Auburn.
Okay.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty player, man. He's a guy that 6th round pick because he's raw.
Sure.
Needs more time to develop. But if Dillard, our starting left tackle, doesn't work out, this dude's a road grader, man. Like, he will mess you up. I saw this one clip. The running back was trying to get into the end zone. His running back, he just picks him up and shoves him through a pile of people.
Damn.
Like, he's the type of guy I want. But Nick, I'll tell you what, we're about 50 minutes in here. I had a lot of fun talking to you, despite the fact that you're a rampant Cowboys fan.
Go Cowboys.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, at least you didn't say we done boys because you don't like it. It's funny because I don't like Fly Eagles Fly either. Also, if you're ever in Philadelphia, you probably won't say it, but you'll just hear Go Birds a lot. Like, that's
I will make sure I wear my Dez jersey when I do that.
You should definitely.
Maybe Zeke, because he always destroys you all.
Just whatever. Wear whatever you want. You should come watch. I'll tell you what, we'll get tickets to an Eagles Cowboy game at Lincoln Financial Field. You can sit on the other side of the stadium from me. I'll sit in relative safety. So
that's fair.
So, Nick, anything you would like to share with our viewers, this isn't going on YouTube, our listeners, before we depart for the evening?
Not so much. I'm looking forward to hopping on again, later on the season with you, talking some shit after the Cowboys win. Because this division's just a lock. But if you want to talk some shit to me or tell me why the Cowboys suck, hit me up on Twitter at Fantasy Spinoff, and I'll give you some shit. It's always gonna be the Cowboys though.
Well, I'll tell you what, I still think it's the Eagles division to lose. We are the reigning division champs. We are
so weak last year.
Hey, look, I'll tell you what, I've never seen a team quit at the end of the year like the Cowboys did, man. They must have really wanted Garrett gone.
As stupid as it is, and I would be ashamed if it's true, but I wouldn't be shocked if that was actually a true statement.
Man, I watched them in Philadelphia. I think it was week 16.
They didn't want to play. They're done.
I've never seen a group of millionaires look so depressed in my life, and I was like, we're going to win the division. All we got to do is beat New York next week.
Yeah.
So
that's real hard to do.
Yeah, they're going to get better. every team, but the Redskins are going to Redskin every year. So, Nick, again, thank you for coming on. I plan on having you back on again as things develop throughout the offseason. Hopefully there's football. I think there's going to be too much money to be made to not have football. So, Nick, thank you again. Again, check Nick out on Twitter. Play fantasy with him. He will hoard every single first-round draft pick that he can. And he will not feel guilty about it. I did get one back
at all. So. Kind of, but you also sent me one next year.
That is true, but I got what I wanted out of it. So
that's fair.
It's not a bad deal. But
all I want is Travis Etienne next year.
You can have him. You can have Reggie Bush light for all I care.
He's a special player.
He could be. You never know. So until whenever I do it, it might be 2 weeks. I got a special show coming up for you. We'll see. I don't know. A lot going on. Follow this show on Twitter at @backrow_birds. You can follow me on Twitter for whatever reason at the mbauer85. Check out my Dynasty podcast at Dynasty Rewind. We have a new YouTube channel. We have an Instagram page. Blah, 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 blah. There's a Facebook group too. Check all that stuff out. So, hey, until next week, everybody, just remember, no one likes us. We don't care. Thanks again.